Welcome back to BYoungMinistry.com, to another blog and to another podcast. Welcome to those who access the podcast through Apple Podcasts, Rumble, Spotify, and YouTube. Today we continue in our study of the book of Genesis. We're in chapter 37, verses 15 through 22, which reads, "Now a certain man found him, and there he was, wandering in the field. And the man asked him, asking, 'What are you seeking?' So he said, 'I am seeking my brothers. Please tell me where they are feeding their flocks.' And the man said, 'They have departed from here, for I heard them say, Let us go to Dothan.' So Joseph went after his brothers and found them in Dothan. Now when they saw him afar off, even before he came near them, they conspired against him to kill him. Then they said to one another, 'Look, this dreamer is coming. Come therefore, let us down kill him and cast him into some pit, and we shall say some wild beast has devoured him. We shall see what will become of his dreams.' But Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands and said, 'Let us not kill him.' And Reuben said to them, 'Shed no blood, but cast him into this pit which is in the wilderness, and do not lay a hand on him, that he might deliver him out of their hands, and bring him back to his father.'" That's Genesis chapter 37, verses 15 through 22. Today we continue our study of Genesis 37, where the spotlight has firmly been placed on the fourth patriarch of Israel, Joseph, who was Jacob's most favored son, causing Joseph's brothers to hate him. Due to his favoritism, Jacob did not require Joseph to do manual labor as his brothers did. Jacob made Joseph the overseer of his brothers. In our last study, Jacob sent Joseph to the fields to make sure that his brothers were doing well. In verses 15 through 17 of today's passage, we read, "Now a certain man found him, and there he was, wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, 'What are you seeking?' So he said, 'I am seeking my brothers. Please tell me where they are feeding their flocks.' And the man said, 'They have departed from here, for I heard them say, Let us go to Dothan.' So Joseph went after his brothers and found them in Dothan. Joseph arrived at his father's field in Shechem, which was about 60 miles away. It was then that Joseph discovered his brothers weren't there. As he wandered the area, a man asked him what he was seeking. Whoever the man was, the Lord had him there when Joseph's brothers were there. And he was there when Joseph arrived as well. The brothers may not have felt lost, but to Joseph they were. Joseph, not sure where his brothers were at that point, he asked the man where they had gone. The man then told Joseph that his brothers had gone to Dothan, which was about 12 miles due north of Shechem. Dothan means two wells. As we learn in John chapter 4, the piece of land where they were in contained Jacob's well. But Dothan has two wells. The message that emanates from these two wells is we always have the choice to partake of the true waters of life or the false. In Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 13, we read, "For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewn themselves cisterns, broken cisterns, that can hold no water." There are wells which nourish, and there are those which disappoint. We are told again and again in the Bible, people either forsake the true water of life and hew for themselves broken cisterns. In the Bible, the well is the place of spiritual nourishment, and the true well is found only in the Lord Jesus Christ. Instead of turning his back home to his father, Joseph went to Dothan in order to find his brothers, and he found them there. In verses 18 through 20 of today's passage, we read, "Now when they saw him afar off, even before he came near them, they conspired against him to kill him. Then they said to one another, 'Look, this dreamer is coming. Come therefore, let us now kill him and cast him into some pit. And we shall say, some wild beast has devoured him. We shall see what will become of his dreams.'" Even from a long distance, the brothers identified Joseph, probably due to his coat of many colors. They hated him so much due to his favored position with his father and his dreams. His brothers drew up a plan to kill him. The book of Matthew is 28 chapters long, and each of those chapters has one or several links or hidden connections to the first 28 books of the Bible. In Genesis, there are no less than 4 of these links. One of them is in the dreams of Joseph. In Genesis, Joseph, the son of Jacob, is known to have dreams. In Matthew chapter 1, Joseph, the legal father of the Lord Jesus, was given dreams as well. There is a difference, though, here. The dreams of Joseph, the father of Jesus, were intended to save the Lord Jesus. But the dreams of Joseph here were used as an excuse to kill him. Throughout the Bible, God the Father is the one who directs man's dreams, both in the giving and the interpretation of them. And so, even though the title is bent one way when spoken by his brothers about Joseph, it was intended in its fullest way, and another way, when picturing for us the Lord Jesus. At Dothan, the place of the 2 wells, the brothers intended to kill Joseph and cast him into one of the pits. The word for pit is used symbolically in the Bible for the place where the dead go. There is Sheol, the place of the dead, but there is also the pit. In Psalm 30 and verse 3 we read, "O Lord, you brought my soul up from the grave. You have kept me alive, that I should not go down to the pit." Jealousy, murder, conspiracy, and lying in one story. Not only did his brothers hate Joseph, but they had no regard at all for their father. All they could think of was doing away with Joseph. As was the case in Genesis 34, in the incident with their sister Dinah, the Lord is never mentioned in this chapter. Not in general and not specifically. The Lord was entirely left out of the picture. In verses 21 through 22 of today's passage we read, "But Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, 'Let us not kill him.' And Reuben said to them, 'Shed no blood, but cast him into this pit which is in the wilderness, and do not lay a hand on him, that he might deliver him out of their hands, and bring him back to his father.'" Reuben was the oldest son, the firstborn. He was in charge, and he was the one their father would hold responsible. Reuben tried to exercise his leadership by taking his brothers into a different plan, to which they ended up agreeing for now. The Bible doesn't specifically tell us why Reuben protested his brother's plan, but scholars generally attribute it to his heart being more tender than his other brothers. The explanation is hinted at in Genesis 42, when they all stood in Joseph's presence in Egypt, not knowing it was him. And Reuben said, "Did I not speak to you, saying, 'Do not sin against the boy,' and you would not listen? Therefore, behold, his blood is now required of us." My friends, I trust this blog and this podcast are helping you in your walk with the Lord. If I can be of further assistance to you, shoot me an email at BYoungMinistry BYoung@gmail.com. Hey, have a great day.